His voice was calm, but underneath it trembled a tension that could snap the air in half. The millionaire, dressed in white linen, diamonds on her wrist, froze as sweat ran down her back. She had money, power, every comfort in the world, but right here, under the blazing sun of a lonely Texas trail, none of that mattered. Only the kindness of a stranger stood between her and a venomous strike that could end everything. Before we dive into this incredible true-hearted tale of two people whose worlds should never have crossed, but did, in the most life-changing way, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment to support Kindness Tales. Your support helps us share more powerful, real-feeling stories that remind us what truly matters. Now, let's begin. The millionaire's name was Madeline Rhodes, a woman known across business magazines as the Queen of Real Estate. She was sharp, polished, flawless in public, and utterly alone in private. After decades of success, something in her heart had begun to feel hollow, like she had climbed every mountain only to find the air cold and empty at the top. So she took a break. A rare, unplanned escape. She rented a car, drove through Texas, and told herself she was searching for inspiration. But the truth was simpler, she just wanted to feel human again. Her GPS glitched on an open stretch of road, leading her miles off the highway until she found herself stuck in a shallow ditch. No cell service. No towns for miles. No one to call. Except a cowboy on horseback who happened to pass by. His name was Luke Harper, a ranch hand in worn boots and a sun-faded hat. He spoke gently, with soft humor in his voice, and introduced himself like they were at a small-town barbecue, not in the middle of nowhere. "Looks like your fancy wheels met their match," he joked, sliding off his horse. Madeline wasn't used to being helped. She wasn't even used to needing help. But here she was, standing beside her car, looking helpless and expensive in the dust. Luke tried pushing her car. No luck. So he suggested a walk toward his family's ranch, just a mile away, where they could call a tow truck. They started walking. For the first time in a long time, Madeline felt herself relax. She asked about his life. He asked about hers, but she kept it vague, embarrassed by how out of place her world felt next to his. They were halfway across a dry, rocky patch when Luke suddenly stiffened. "Stay still," he said, voice dropping. Madeline froze. She didn't breathe. Didn't blink. Luke's eyes were locked on something near her leg. Slowly, carefully, he pointed. A rattlesnake, coiled tight, resting in perfect camouflage, just inches from her ankle. Her blood turned to ice. Her vision blurred at the edges. Luke didn't move closer. He didn't reach for her. He just spoke in that steady, grounding voice. "You're okay. I've got you. But don't move an inch." He described exactly what she needed to do. "Shift your weight back, slower." His calm was a blanket wrapped around her fear. Every inch she moved, he guided her, his voice a lifeline. When she was far enough, he gently nudged the snake away with a long branch. No harm, no panic, no violence. Just respect. Just care. The moment it slithered off, Madeline collapsed onto her knees, breath shaking like a broken engine. Luke knelt beside her. "You're safe now," he said softly. For a man who didn't know her name, he held more compassion in those words than most people had ever offered her. As they continued toward the ranch, Madeline felt something unfamiliar, gratitude so deep it almost hurt. Luke's family ranch was small, modest, alive with warmth. His mother made iced tea. His sister offered her a seat like she'd been expected all week. There was laughter in the air, something Madeline hadn't heard in her own home in years. While the tow truck came, she watched them. This simple kindness, this unpolished generosity, it felt like sunlight on parts of her heart she'd forgotten. Before she left, she tried to offer Luke money, too much, really. An apology disguised as gratitude. But he only smiled, shaking his head. "Ma'am, some things you don't do for money." Those words stayed with her long after she drove away. Days passed. But the encounter kept echoing in her mind. She realized how disconnected she'd become, how success had slowly replaced relationships, how she'd forgotten the beauty of simple humanity. So she did something impulsive again. She returned to the ranch. Luke was surprised but welcomed her with the same easy kindness. They talked, really talked. About life. About fear. About what makes people feel alive. She confessed how lonely she'd been. He listened without judgment. Something warm began blooming between them, not romance, not friendship, something deeper. A mutual respect. A recognition that kindness wasn't weakness, it was strength. Madeline decided to help the ranch, not with flashy donations, but with her time, her hands, her presence. She visited often, bringing supplies, painting fences with Luke, learning to ride a horse, learning to laugh again. One afternoon, as they sat on the porch, Luke said, "Funny how life puts people in front of each other at the strangest times." Madeline nodded. "I think, maybe I needed saving from more than just a snake." Luke didn't say anything. He just smiled in that knowing way. Word spread around town about the millionaire who spent her weekends at the Harper Ranch, not for publicity, not for business, but simply because she found something there she hadn't found anywhere else: genuine human kindness. Months passed, and she began incorporating what she learned into her life, treating employees with gentler patience, funding community centers in small towns, using her influence to create spaces where people felt seen and valued. Kindness had become her new form of wealth. And she never forgot the moment it all began, a cowboy's calm voice in the desert heat, telling her to stay still. A moment where a stranger's kindness didn't just save her life, it transformed it. Because sometimes, one small act of care, one steady voice, opens a door inside us. A door we didn't even know was locked. And once kindness walks through, nothing is ever the same. So let this story remind you. Kindness isn't loud. It isn't flashy. It doesn't need applause. But it has the power to reach into someone's life and quietly change everything. And you, yes, you watching, have that power too. Use it. Share it. Carry it into your world. Because one moment of kindness can create a lifetime of impact.